Hey y'all, it's Colleen from Sunrise to Sunset RV again. I am back with the third video installment in my anniversary series. The first two videos were the 9 things I wish I knew before going full time, and second was the top 10 places I visited my first year. This one is going to be the pros and cons of living in an RV. If you've been enjoying these videos, please consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel with the little subscribe button down there, and leaving me a comment. I'm enjoying answering some of the comments, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those as well. So again, starting with the pros and cons, I'm one of those people who, if you tell me you have good news, bad news, I want to hear your bad news first, because I like to end on a good note. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to start with the cons and end with the pros. So let's get started. All right, so my cons. Small. Yep, I know I mentioned before that the size of this is very small and storage is at a premium. So, you know, there's very little space in here. So knowing that I can't carry a whole lot, that I don't have space for very much, it's just an adjustment. Getting used to it. Let's see. Second con is reputation. So the reputation of people living on the road or being full-time RVers falls into a few buckets. The first one is the retirees. So those are typically your snowbirds who are running away from the bad weather in the winter and going south. A lot of times they are just, finally retired and finally get to do their traveling. So they are going to visit family or finally getting to see the world. Number 2 are the troublemakers. So the drug addicts, the homeless, people just assume that if you're living in your car or your van or your RV, that you're one of those and you're the dregs of society, which is not the case. They don't like it. They think that you're grifting or you're loitering. So there have been a lot of people who they try to run you out. They try to get you to leave. So there's that reputation. And then there's the silver spoon millennial reputation, where the people who just don't want to work and just want to be able to go wherever they want to go, whenever they want to go. They have mommy and daddy's money. So, sure, I've seen all 3 of those, but then there's a whole plethora of people in between, and there are many reasons why some people are out here. Yeah, there are some retirees. Yeah, there are some that are down on their luck. And yeah, there are some well-to-do, young people who are all about #van life. So, but then there are people like me who just really wanted to get out on the road and wanted to have that opportunity to see the world before I got too old or, got too sick or, not that I am old, not that I am sick, but you never know what's going to come down the pike. So I just wanted to get out there. I wanted to go. And fortunately, as a digital nomad, I can do that. So I do work from my rig. I do have a job. Actually, I have my own business. So, sorry. Yeah, trying to hold this better way. So, yeah, I know there are people like me that are out there. But then there are also some musicians that like to go from place to place so that they can perform different areas. There are artists who go out and share their art. There are people who like working seasonal jobs so that they can go, some people like to surf, so they go in the summer someplace where they can teach surfing or they can surf. Some people like skiing, so they go, where there's skiing. Some people like hiking, so they go where there's hiking, and they pick up, jobs there, seasonal jobs there. So it's just, there's a whole bunch of people, doing a whole bunch of different things out here, and I think it's pretty cool. But the cons are the reputations that people tend to stick to people who are living in their vans. Let's see. The third thing, getting sick. when you're living in an RV can be a pain. So since I've been on the road, I've had one head cold, I've had one migraine, and I've had 2 stomach bugs of some kind. The head cold was no different from being in a sticks and bricks. I had a cold, I had to take some meds, I had to sleep a lot, I had to drink a lot of water. That wasn't a big deal. The migraine was a little bit more of an issue. My migraines tend to present with getting physically ill, so throwing up in a van is not fun. Throwing up in an RV is not fun. Throwing up in general is not fun, but doing it in a van and an RV, no. That, and then, making sure that it's quiet enough, cool enough, dark enough when, I've got my migraines. That was kind of difficult. And then the 2 stomach issues, I had one back in February, and I actually am not feeling very well right now. So knowing that you have to go to the bathroom in such a small space so often can be off-putting. But you deal. It's not fun when you're in a sticks and bricks. It's a little less fun being in here. So that's a con. Let's see. Chores. Running errands and doing chores. Knowing that anytime you need to run your errands or do your chores, you have to break camp and go someplace, that can be a con. People try to do it. I try to do it when I am already moving from place to place so that I can not have to move as often, or I don't have to break camp to go anywhere. Now, this past year I was very fortunate that most of the places and the people with whom I camped, they had a tow vehicle, or they were towing a car, or they had a small enough rig that for them to, pack up and leave, or they could leave some of their stuff, with as many people as we had in camp could watch the stuff. That I was very fortunate that I had that, and I tried not to take advantage of them, but when they were going into town and they had enough space for me to tag along, I would go, and it was awesome. They were great, doing that, and I really appreciate it. This coming year, I don't know that I'm going to have that, so already working and trying to make sure that I had enough stuff with me at any one time so that I didn't have to go into town. I'm just going to be doing the same thing. It's all about resource management, so making sure that you have enough water, enough food, enough paper products, enough dog food for, my dogs, having enough propane, having enough gas, all that stuff, having the electricity, all of that. It's all about the resource management. So, and then if there's something that I did forget, is it something that I can wait until the next time I move? So that can be a little bit of a con, is you don't want to move as much, so especially once you get set up. So chores, running errands can be a little bit of a pain. Let's see. This is my last con before we move on to the pros. Temperature. So RVs are not typically, sorry, I had a cabinet still open. RVs are not typically very well insulated. So when it's hot outside, you can feel the heat inside. When it's cold outside, you can feel the cold inside. I'm very fortunate that the 2 fans that I have in my rig can keep it cool enough in here. When I get them both going and I have my windows open, I can get a great cross breeze in here. When it's super hot, fortunately now I've got a generator, so I can turn on the air conditioner, so that's awesome. But I try to chase 70-degree weather. Like the mid 70s, low to mid 70s is perfect for me. So I will continue to keep trying to do that. And then I've got the generator now where I can run the air conditioner if I need to, like I said, or I've got a buddy heater, so during the winter I can keep it warm in here with the buddy heater. My furnace is one of the things that I do need to work on and see if I can get it going again. I've never been able to get it to work, so I will be, kind of working on it to try to get myself, a better way to stay warm during the colder months. But yeah, so another thing, hopefully, I'll be able to get that working. But yeah, keeping your temperature in the rig can be a bit of a con. All right, so let's move on to the pros. So my first pro is small. It can be a pro and a con. I came into the full-time RV life through tiny homes, the tiny home movement, and I just like the idea of having something smaller that didn't take a lot of upkeep, that didn't cost so much, because a lot of the houses nowadays, the older houses are real fixer-uppers, and they might be a little less expensive, but they're still, you got to come up with the money to fix them. Or the newer houses are hundreds of thousands of dollars. The tiny homes were coming in, in the tens of thousands of dollars, and it was kind of nice, and I thought that would be pretty cool. I didn't like the idea of moving into an apartment because the close quarters, they're stacked right on top of each other, right next to each other, and that didn't appeal to me. So having a tiny home, that just sounded great. But the fact that tiny homes don't roll, don't move, that was a problem for me. So moving on to pro number 2 is being mobile. So because I'm a nomad at heart, living in a house was actually kind of killing me. I really didn't like living in a house and being stationary so much. So being able to, be in an RV and being able to move, it's really awesome for me. Can't really do that in a house. It doesn't make sense to buy a home and then move every couple of years because you're losing your equity or, whatever. And it just really wasn't for me. So, and then tiny homes on wheels, it's very, they don't really explain to you that the only time you move, the whole reason why they're on wheels is just like a mobile home. You're just moving it to wherever it's going to be. And it's not as mobile as they make you think it is. So, RV it is. Number 3 pro is travel. So not only am I mobile, I can actually travel, which is really awesome. I suppose living in a house and traveling could have been something that I did, but that's only 1 or 2 weeks out of the year, and being able to go just about anywhere at the drop of a hat is kind of awesome. So that's, that was a big pro for me. Shifting again. So yeah, I want to see everything, and I know I probably won't see everything, but I can try to see as much as I can. See, next, affordable repairs. For the most part, everything in the cabin part of the RV is DIY. I know not everything is, but for the most part, things are. So for example, when I had to replace my water pump, it was $80 for the part, and it was really easy for me to swap it out. The water intake valve, yeah, I know I need to replace it again, but it was only like $12, $15, and I can do it myself. It's just a few screws, and then I'm gonna like replumb the water line, so hopefully it won't crack again. But even like, for example, the air conditioner is only a few $100s compared to $1,500 in a house. Same with the water heater. The bathroom, if I have to replace the black tank and the shower, the tub, if you will, if I have to do that, the most expensive those are that I've found are $400. Whereas if I had to do you know, any of that kind of plumbing work in a sticks and bricks, it could be thousands of dollars to fix. So, you know, sure, the refrigerator here, you know, that's more expensive, but, you know, for the most part, to replace things in here, it's a lot less expensive than in a sticks and bricks, so it's a little more affordable as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Next, cozy. I am a nester. I like being able to nest. So the fact that this is so small and I can cozy up and yeah, that's awesome. And then with the two dogs, we're like a little pack. Like right now, we're on the bed, and both dogs are flanking me, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Next, always a bathroom. No matter where I go in this, you know how when you're traveling and sometimes you might not be able to find a gas station or a restaurant that you can stop and go to the bathroom. I can just pull over. And I mean, yeah, there are some people who will just pull over and they will go anywhere outside. But I can just pull over and I can hop in the back real quick and I can go to the bathroom, which is really cool. Took me a couple of days of traveling to realize that I could do that. Funny story. But yeah, it's cool that I always have a bathroom with me. I also, another pro, always have a kitchen with me. So being able to save money while traveling is pretty cool. I can just, you know, come back here, stop at a rest area, come back here and make a quick sandwich or grab some yogurt or, you know, cook some oatmeal real quick. So, you know, I could save some money doing that. So that's kind of nice. And then my last pro, which I think is the best, is my living room. I have got the biggest living room, and it's ever changing. So, you know, I gave up space as far as a bedroom and a kitchen and a bathroom, but I have got, you know, a new view every day if I want. I have got a nice big space outside where I can go and sit and eat. You know, it can be my dining room, it can be my living room, it can be my sitting room, it can be my office. So I think that's my biggest pro of this whole thing, is that wherever I go, my living area is there. So anyway, that's my pros and cons, my third video. Again, like I said, if you like this, thumbs up, give me a comment or two down below, and subscribe. Thanks. Talk to you later. Mwah. Love you guys.